righty. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Here's something I want to talk about. The first step to receiving an answer is being brave enough to ask a question. There's power in asking a great question. Here's the other thing. Not all questions have to be so deep. Some of the best questions are extremely simple, but you have to be brave enough to ask those questions. Tonight, we'll be talking with a really good friend of mine. We're going to talking about how leaders can ask really good questions. But before that, let's go ahead and hit the sponsor. Alrighty, so tonight, James Hicks, this guy right here, supermodel. It's my supermodel. You know, I actually just brought him on tonight so that I can increase my viewership. So hopefully, James, don't disappoint tonight with my viewership tonight. I need it, man. So that's the only reason I got you on here. I'm joking. James Hicks of HicksNewMedia, engineering technologist and creative entrepreneur, driven by discovery and focused on purpose. James is a thought leader. He's a content creator, but he's also an advocate. He's dedicated to building trust, confidence, and community by working with individuals and organizations by providing technological insight and consulting to solve business objectives. I'm a proud member of his consortium, the Digital Collective. It's a group of like-minded content creators and business-driven individuals looking to expand our brand and our reach and to take over in our various business disciplines. So I want you guys to welcome. He's also a mentor, peer, a confidant, and I dare say, a really good friend. How are you doing today, sir?
Come on now. Come on, brother. What's going on? How you doing, Brother Worthy? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm so excited,
First of all,
man.
let's talk about this house that you have built. Man, Worthy Retail You. Nice. I'm loving the feel. I'm feeling right at home. Now you moving the doors and the windows on me. No, don't do that now.
Now I'm doing too much.
No, this congratulations on this evolution in the journey, man. This is definitely nice.
Thank you, sir. I think tonight, man, I'm overwhelmed, right? Because the cool thing is that we've been connected, I guess probably almost maybe a year or so now, it seems like. And I have watched you do so many different things, all your different live streams, but the evolution of HicksNewMedia and iterations that you've gone through. You have purged certain limbs, and then you have expanded certain limbs. But the one thing that I want to talk about a little bit tonight is your ability to ask really good questions in your interview process. But before I do that, I did a little introduction. I want people to hear from your own mouth. Talk a little bit more about who you are.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Look, first and foremost, so let me say thank you, sir, again for the invite and the privilege to be here. Worthy Retail You. I'm James Hicks, again, the founder and owner of HicksNewMedia, where we do digital publishing and technology consulting. Been focused on just raising awareness, having conversations, shining the light on the interviewee instead of the interviewer. I think everyone has a story to tell, and I have a platform that I'm focused on the community and making sure that those stories get told. So I'm just a member of a servant of the community, right? Just making sure that we have those opportunities, we have those avenues, we have a place to have whatever conversation it is. Sometimes those are awkward conversations. Sometimes they focus on fun topics, technology. They'll focus on business, but they're conversations that need to be had. And similar to what Steve is doing here, we're getting above the noise, right? We're having conversations, I think, that resonate with our constituents. So again, that's me. And I'm, again, just happy to be here, brother.
Excellent, man. Excellent. So one of the things, before we get into kind of talking a little bit about how leaders can ask like really good questions and talking about the good, bad, and the difference relative to questions. One of the things, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is your ability, whenever I've watched you, you've interviewed CEOs, engineers, podcasters, um, Fortune 500, executives. I mean, just it covers the gamut. And one of the reasons I listen and I go to your live stream, it's not just because you're my buddy, man. It's because I'm always interested in what questions that you're going to ask, right?
Mm.
You never cease to disappoint because you ask some really great questions. Has been kind of your secret sauce, if you will? Because I think if you can share some of that stuff, I think it will set a really good foundation for everything else that we kind of talk about tonight.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. And to be honest with you, it's not rocket science though, man. What I do is literally and honestly, I humble myself and I
Mm,
take myself out of the driver's seat, right? I put myself in the navigator seat. I let the conversation go where it logically goes.
yeah.
I'll have a run of show. I'll have a handful of topics that I'll talk to that I want to have touched on during the conversation. But if you just are genuine, if you just are personable, and you just have the dialogue and have the other person on the other side of the camera not think that there's a whole bunch of other people listening, commenting, or whatever on the other end, and just have that one-on-one conversation.
Hmm.
And again, like I said, let that other person tell their story. If you really again get yourself out of the way and let the other person lead for a little while, there's nothing
Mm.
wrong with that. And some amazing, magical conversations really come out of that. That's my secret sauce. And I didn't charge you for it. I just told it to you right off the gate, man. And but it sounds easy, but it's something that
Yeah,
you got to do consciously as well,
yeah.
right? Because as leaders, as managers, as solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, we always want to be the one who is pulling all the strings, making all the calls, doing all of the things. But if you can again humble yourself, pull yourself out of that captain's chair, let someone else sit in there and drive. Let
Mm,
someone else lead the
mm,
way, lead the discussion.
mm.
Use whatever analogy that you want to do. That really opens up a whole different type of dynamic, and that just allows the conversation to go where again it logically needs to go, as opposed to what you may have written down in your run of show.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we have a couple of who's that guy?
Well,
He's in the
you already
show.
know.
He's in the
I
show.
got some shirts that got that too. Hey, well, first of all, before you bring
I
anything
know.
else,
Go
say
ahead, man.
something.
Go ahead, man. Hold
Say
up. You know
something.
I got to go ahead, man.
Hold on, let me get this out the
I
way.
want to get the. I
Bring
got
me
it.
up on there,
Yeah,
man.
I want the big one. There we go. What's that? What's that, man?
I come through, rocking some gear. Shouts out to was it Preston So,
They are in
Sylvia
the
and Andrew
building.
Nixon,
They
the
are in the building.
proprietors, making some gear. I'm just here trying to represent you, brother. I got the large on because like I told you, I want that gym work showing through. And your boy been working on the squats a little bit, so I want to make sure it look right
I see,
on the
man.
show.
I see. I see. Well, hey, Sylvia. We got Sylvia. Hey. She's in the house. She's in the house, and she's going to be on your show tomorrow, which is awesome.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, let me tell you something. We talk about that later, but man, I don't want to plug it just yet. But man, it's gonna be hot tomorrow.
I know, right? I know. I'm excited
Oh,
about
this
that one.
guy right here, Dana
Yeah.
Lattery,
Yes.
man, that's my guy there too, man. Great session that I saw you doing with Felicia, man. I'm humbled to be able to call you a friend. Dana Lattery is a good dude.
Excellent. Hey, what's going on, Heidi? How are you doing? Good to see you here. Excellent. Thanks for being here. Heidi used to work with me when I was at Target. I
Awesome.
appreciate that. Excellent. Excellent. Please, people, go get your podcast shirt. That's
Oh,
right.
look at it. Look at there.
There we go.
There's the
There we
marketing
go.
for you right there,
I
coming
know.
from the
I
source.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And then of course, Miss Cher Jones in the building, repping with the gear and everything. Thank you, Cher
Love it.
Jones. Excellent. And then we have a couple people here. I think they just want to say, this is it says, man, I would love to work with somebody like you. I'm trying to be an entrepreneur too. Okay, excellent. Well, we'll try to connect with you, down the line as well. But we want to go ahead and get to kind of some of the questions and some of our thoughts at hand. So I want to go back to what you talked about, taking yourself out of the equation when you
Yeah.
when you ask a question, because I think if you if you start to think about that, that has to be, honestly, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, sometimes it has to be one of the most difficult things to do, because
Yeah.
you are so used to being the one in charge. You're so used to being the one to actually point the ship in the right direction. And also the other part of it is that the responsibility kind of falls on you. However, that's also kind of a fixed mindset. It's not so much a growth mindset as you think about from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah.
What have been some of the things that you've been able to maybe coach people on and talk to people on that actually may have sort of a fixed mindset and they don't have the ability to get themselves out of the way?
If you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to scale, right, realize that you cannot be the smartest person in the room,
Mm,
right? Realize that you have to surround yourself with like-minded folks, right? Folks who are positively motivated, positively focused, want to do like my old boss Steve Jobs said, right? Put a dent in the universe.
mm,
You want to be around those type of people. And I appreciate what you said kind of when you before you brought me on about how I've kind of scaled back some of the limbs in my tree.
yeah.
Even having that kind of conversation with folks, right? That can be very difficult as well. But as a leader, you have to be able to say, these may not be the directions that I need to go for in this particular season of my life or my career or my evolution. So may have to make some adjustments, may have to make some pivots, may have to make some changes, those kinds of things. But really, to be able to put yourself in environments and scenarios to where it's not just you making the decisions all the
Mm,
time, because you really
mm,
you end up getting stale, you end up getting stagnant, you don't grow, you're not challenged. I want to be around folks who, yeah, agree with the direction that I want to go on, right? That forward trajectory. But I want to be with folks that are going to say, James, what about this? What if we thought about going this particular direction? So I don't want yes men and yes women around me all the time. I need someone that's going to challenge me mentally as well to think a little bit differently.
mm.
So I mean that really again is it sounds easy to say, but in practice, man, you really got to put some conscious effort into being able to tell yourself no and tell folks around you that, hey, you know what, right now may not be the time for us to continue to do this. We may need to put a pause on this or change direction. Or you seem hesitant and you seem quiet in the
Yeah,
meeting right
yeah,
there. I know
yeah.
you. I know you're someone who I want on the team. Give us your opinion. Here's the pen. You go up to the whiteboard and you draw out the solution to this particular episode that we're in.
Mm.
Get those folks engaged in the process themselves as well. Again, allow putting yourself out of it, but then bringing in the folks that are like-minded, folks that are motivated, folks that are uh, just willing to contribute to the overall cause. That's a huge thing for me, man.
No, it's massive, man. I think when you start to think about people who some of the best leaders that you and I know, right? Throughout our career, we've probably been
Mm,
surrounded by just some amazing, amazing people. And I think one of the best traits that I've actually seen them have, you touched upon it earlier, is humility. But the other thing is to bring people along for the ride. And
yeah.
so when you start to think about asking questions, I think if you will, you think about asking really good questions. The goal for that question is to maybe not have the answer. Even if you do have the answer, is to probably ask that question where you may get somebody else's perspective and then you're kind of bringing them along for the ride. What are your thoughts about that?
Look, a lot of times I will. So if Sylvia's still listening, she probably will. I hear I'm gonna give her some secret sauce of what's gonna happen tomorrow, and kind of just like you said, right? I'll know the answer that I'm looking for, but I will kind of bait that hook, and I will kind of throw either some softballs out there or some questions that I'm hoping that the audience will gravitate to, and knowing that the interviewee is going to just have an answer that's really going to shake up the world, so to speak, right?
Mm,
Staying away from closed-ended questions, staying away from just yes, no's, maybes, okay answer type of questions, having that open-ended conversation. To whereas I may ask a question, I know where I want to take the conversation, and it may not be the very next question, but it's somewhere down the road. It's all going to come full circle, come to fruition. And Dana's in the comments right here now, so he knows I took him on a trip right
yeah,
when we had our conversation. I knew what I was doing. I was playing that part because I really wanted to have the story come out because I knew it resonated with
right.
the audience. Not everyone's going to be in the comments making comments all the time. They're going to be there and they're going to be like nodding their head in front of their screen saying, yeah, this, I agree with this. This
Agreed.
resonates with me. But if I can help get the person I'm talking to tell their story, get around all of that hard stuff, pull all of that out and say how they made it from the darkness to the light,
Mm,
those types of things really resonate. And that's what, from a content creation perspective, that's what gets folks to share your story. That's what gets folks to subscribe. That's what gets the super fans and all of that piece, right? But asking those open-ended questions, the questions that have a cause for thought,
Mm,
as opposed to, again, just a yes no answer or response type of question. That's really where it is right there. So knowing how to do that really helps make it for an engaging interview, make for an engaging conversation, and just for an engaging conversation with anyone, regardless of if we're on camera or not, right? If I'm
agreed.
sitting in front of across the room from you as well, right? I don't want to be sitting around no dud.
I,
Like Steve, when we go out for a drink in person, I'm not going to just be answering you yes no questions, right? We're gonna get into it, but again,
man,
that's what it is. So
I'm thinking about this sidebar. I'm thinking about planning something out to come out there probably
come through, brother,
this
come
summer, man.
through.
So yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I'm excited and I'm thinking
I
about
got a
doing
room for
something
you.
along those
Come.
lines. Hey, if anybody who's out there listening, well, whether you're going to be listening to this live or you're going to be listening to this on the replay, go ahead and put a question in there in the comments. If you have a comment or you have a question, please, that will help us just continue with the conversation because we're going to chop it up,
Mhm.
but we want to know what's on your mind. We want to know what you're thinking about. What are your concerns? What are some of the things that you have been maybe struggling with about asking questions or about potentially asking the wrong questions? And so, having said that, James, what's the difference between a really good question and a great question?
The difference between a good question and a great question really is the context of how it's asked,
Mm.
right? If I ask
So-
you something and I already perceive the response, right? If I already know you're going to come with a negative response or you're going to come with
mm,
a very lukewarm response, then again, I didn't ask it the right way. I didn't use my uh, access of the thesaurus and the dictionary to come up with different language to actually make the conversation and make the question compelling for you to respond to. If I didn't emote, and you see, I do this purposely and consciously, my jazz hands, right?
yeah,
I talk with my hands a lot just to show the emotion,
that's
because
right.
again,
That's right.
that shows that I'm invested in whatever the conversation is. So if I
Correct.
just sat back and just responded to questions like this would be
Yes.
very boring and no one would want to tune in because, like, what the hell is he doing?
You're right.
But if I ask a question and I show that I'm vested in the conversation as well,
Hmm.
that really helps elevate the dialogue as well, because you're going to want to respond. You're going to probably want to match that energy as well.
Yes.
So coming with the energy, coming with the question that you don't already have a perceived response for. Right? If you say something, I want you to say something. You say something different, and if I get all bundled up then and I constrict and withdraw from the remaining of the conversation, then I'm losing out, right? I end up being the one who doesn't get all the benefit from the dialogue or from the conversation. I don't learn.
Yeah.
So if I stay open and receptive to dialogue, debate,
Yeah.
some different types of responses and different points of view, that just benefits both of us, I think, really, in terms of how we continue with the dialogue and then everyone learns, everyone grows, everyone gets better,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be,
A
right?
hundred
So
percent,
being
man.
being open and receptive and not having perceived responses
Yeah.
already in your head, getting out of, I say this a lot, right? Get out of your own way. So
Yeah.
getting out of our own way in terms of what we expect or what we assume someone else to respond.
Yeah. It was and everybody, please. We are going to be talking in the context of like when we're talking about leaders. We can talk about the negative leaders all day long and what they do and how they respond in their thought
Mm,
process. Right. I don't want us to go down that route. I want to keep the level of attention around high performing leaders who are thinking outside the box, leaders who are thinking and asking questions like we're talking about tonight. One of the things, James, that I know that you have, right? It's not, it comes off on camera, but I know it has to come off in person. I think it's one of the most underrated leadership traits, and that's approachability, right? A person's ability to be able to approach someone and ask a
mm.
question and be able to kind of almost let their hair down, if you will. Both of us letting our hair
Watch
down, if
out
you
there now.
will.
That's why.
I know, right? Let you letting your hair down, so that way there's a measure of vulnerability that's associated with that approachability, because you know what, I'm going to be coming to James and maybe asking a question, but you know what, I have to perceive that James really wants to know what I have to say, right? What are your thoughts
Mhm.
about that ability to be approachable as a leader?
Yeah, I, I make the joke a lot of times that I don't like people. Right. Yeah. If my kids have heard me say it, my extended family has heard me say it, my wife has heard me say it, but right, that is poker face, right? Because again, wouldn't be in this field within this industry, wouldn't be creating content if it didn't like people, didn't want to have conversations. You have to be open to dialogue. You
Yeah.
have to be open to different points of view. You have to be open to debate, controversy, criticism, feedback, all of that. If you are going to, we're not. There's a difference between managing and leading too,
Come on.
right?
Come on.
I can
Come on.
manage you all I want to, and I can tell you to go do something, go retail leaders. I can tell you go clean up aisle 5,
Mm,
right? But if I don't tell if I don't tell you the backstory of why it matters to the business, why it matters to the organization, why it matters to customer support and safety, right? We got a spill over here. This is why we need to do these kind of things. We need you to smile. If I don't give you some reasoning behind kind of the order or the direction, then it doesn't resonate, right? It doesn't sink in. It just looks like I'm giving you an order or telling you to do something, but you're not bought into the goal or you're not bought into the mission. So that's kind of the difference between management and leadership. If I'm a true leader, I'm going to be completely bought in to what you, Steve, are saying.
mm,
I'm gonna be completely bought into when we have a one-on-one and we have that conversation and you tell me what your goals, your objectives, and what your thoughts and what your next plans are. I'm gonna be bought into that because
yeah.
I'm gonna want to be the one to help you get to that next level. I'm going to be excited for you when you decide to leave your current role and say, you know what, now, James, I worked for you for 10 years, but now I want your job or I want a lateral job to what you have. When I see you get to that point, if I'm a leader, I'm gonna help you get to around the people that can help you get to that position. And I'm gonna be happy, more happy for you, but I'm also gonna be happy for me because I help mature, train,
Mm,
mentor
mm,
someone to get to their next evolution in life. So
yeah.
difference between management, between leadership, and just being vested in the conversation and being vested in the process of whatever the person that you're dealing with has to say.
Man,
Yeah.
you all up in my wheelhouse, right? Because that whole idea of
I try to make it
managing.
plain, right? I talk about cleaning up at the retail store. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
man.
bring it home for
Look
you,
at
right?
you.
Oh,
Look at you.
okay.
Look
Watch
at you.
yourself now.
You look
Watch your
at you
tone now.
identifying with the audience. I appreciate that.
Watch your tone now. Yes,
But no,
sir.
it's true. You manage processes, right? You
Yeah.
manage
Yeah.
protocol. You lead people. And that's where
Exactly.
that's the adjustment that we're trying to solve and that we're going to be looking at from, with Worthy Retail U is that that shift from being a manager to being a leader.
Mm.
It's a massive shift, and a lot of people are unwilling to take that shift because you know why? Because it's a mindset shift. it's
It
a it's
is.
a humility
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah.
It's like
And
I
and
got to
it's and
give
it's
up.
always moving. It's
It's
always
it's
so
always
what you were
moving.
what you were teaching someone in any industry, what you were probably teaching someone 6, 8, 12 months ago,
Come on.
completely different now.
Yes.
Not just
Yes.
because the entire planet has changed,
Yes.
right? Not just because we've been locked down for 12 months, right? That's one key aspect of it as well. Not just because there's conflicts happening across the globe, and we pray for everyone who's involved in that. But again,
Hmm.
you have to be cognizant of that. So speaking of that, all right, here I go
Yeah.
off a
Go ahead, man.
tangent,
Go
right?
ahead, man.
Content creators, and I put a post out here, and half of you probably got the email as well. We're out here creating content. We're on these multi-platform and multi-streaming applications. One of the platforms that we use, Restream.io,
Mm,
where are they from? The Ukraine.
yeah.
So, and I put a post out there out in one of the content creator communities saying, look, we have to have a contingency plan just in case. Again, we're praying
Correct.
for everyone that's involved in it, but maybe take a look at one of the other platforms that do multi-streaming capabilities if something unfortunate would happen there. If this is your business, right? You have to be prepared for the pros, the cons, the positives, and the negatives, and you have to be able to steer that ship as a leader. Now, if
Yes.
you just manage and you just gonna let it happen, and you just gonna wait, and hopefully nothing bad happens. That's not the way to be. That's
No.
not how you scale. That's not how you grow. That's how you stay stagnant. what was the question, man? Because I went off on a tangent, and
I don't
Lord
even
Lord help me,
I don't
bro.
even remember because
Yeah,
I don't even care
where's Cher
because
Jones? She could probably get me back
I know
on
she'll probably
target.
get us back on point. But here's the
Uh,
thing, right? Because that
yeah,
shift, and this is why I feel retail leaders are so underappreciated, is
yeah,
because of that ability day in, day out to make that shift, right? As a regional person, I can go into somebody's unit and I can disrupt their entire day.
yeah,
They have X, Y, and Z plans associated that they want to do. They want to have it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, Thursday. Here I come walking in. Hey, what's going on,
yeah,
guys?
yeah,
Hey, let's walk. Oh, freaking hey, dude, really? And now they have to shift everything, right? But me as the leader, I have to be able to understand that. So let's just say Brandy or Heidi, right? Come into one of their stores, I have to understand that they are like, oh man, now they're gonna shift everything. I know that they have plans. I know that they want to get stuff accomplished because everybody wants to get stuff accomplished. So how do
hmm
I treat that? How do I treat that circumstance and that situation as a leader and ask questions that are going to be relevant to kind of what they're doing? Or here's the one thing that this is okay, man. Here's the one thing that I love.
we about to have a counseling session for you, aren't we, man? We
No, man. Because this is
because
what
I
happens.
because
I
I
start
just
rubbing my
remember
head.
where I was going when I pivoted, but go right ahead on. I'll come back to it in a second.
Yeah, man. Here's what happens though, is that when you are when you have the ability, and I've been doing this for a while, when
Mm,
you are able to walk into a situation or a building, and they are able to talk to you and ask you questions about what they're doing, and they're
mm,
able to lead you through the visit without you even having to ask a question. That is, for me, that is like where you want your team to be. That is where you want your leadership ability to be. When I can walk into a building and I don't really I can ask maybe one or two questions
yeah,
and then they can take it from there and they can continue to move forward. I think as a leader, that is like I don't know,
yeah.
that's the kryptonite
That's
that you want
those are the
to,
top
yeah.
performers that you want, right?
Oh
And
man.
you're not going to have not everyone's going to be there,
Not everyone.
right?
Not everyone.
I don't even think honestly, I don't think you want everyone to be there.
No, no.
Right. I think you want a good subset. I think you want your inner circle, you want your core to be kind of at that level. And then you want to have ones that you can bring up, that you can mentor, that you can train. You can have those inner circle folks work with to
Correct.
get them a little bit higher scale and higher confident in their aspect. But the thing that I was going to say is that yeah, you walk into a store, you walk into an environment, and again, that 6 to 8 to 12 months, it changes, right?
Yes.
So as long as you, as a leader, don't stay stuck in neutral and think that the same way you did from a retail perspective, same way you did Black Friday last year,
Mm,
is going to be
no.
the same way that you're going to do it this year. No, it's not, right? You're going to open the store a little bit earlier. You're only going to go cyber. You're only going to let a handful of people in store. You're going to have to move and adapt to the ever changing environment, right? Because again, that's the only way that you're going to be able to scale. That's the only way you're going to be able to grow. If you want to make the same old numbers that you made last year,
Come on, man.
you go ahead and just do what you do, right? Open the store at 8 a.m. and close the store at 9 p.m. And not offer either your employees, your staff, or your customers some type of incentive or other means of acquiring your goods and services. If you don't evolve with what's happening and what's changing in the world,
Mm.
either at a macro level at or more at a micro level, depending on what your organization is and what your business is, you just gonna get lost because some of us not waiting. So,
Yeah.
so if you want to sit and be stagnant and worry about what happened in 2021,
Yeah.
I see you on the other side because some folks out here, we out here really trying to win. And you got to get on that. You got to get on that motion if you want to continue to stay relevant.
How,
It really, yeah,
how do
man.
they
You just
stay
got to keep
relevant,
moving.
man? Because come on, because we just talking now. Because I know we're talking about questions, guys. Yes, we're talking about questions, not answers. Questions,
We talking
not a
about
game,
practice.
not a
We
game.
talking about
Yeah,
practice up
yeah.
here.
We're talking about practice.
Shoot.
How do how do how do they stay relevant, right? Because the other thing that I appreciate about you is that you remain relevant, right? We talked a little about right earlier about you having different business units and you kind of pruned them, right? I talk with my
Yeah,
hands too. I'm from New York, so that's my problem,
that's it.
right?
That's it.
So it comes out. So initially I started like this, and it comes out over time. So everybody, Heidi knows. So she's seen me walk stores, and my hands go all
Yeah,
over the
son.
place. But how do they stay relevant, right? Because that is the key. People love sometimes to just remain where they are, and I know that there's certain people that are they're okay with that, and I get that, completely understand that. But man, the
Yeah,
ones that go ahead, man, go.
and that's fine, right? I mean, I can't motivate you. I am
Mm,
a fervent believer that I can't motivate an individual. You have to be self motivated.
yeah.
I can help give you guidance. I can help give you direction. I can give you instruction. But if when the alarm clock goes off in the morning, if you press it 8 or 9 times on snooze and you don't get up and get moving,
Mm,
I can't do much else for you, man. If you don't have that drive, if you don't have that desire, and that will to go out there and again put that dent in the universe. I look up because I've got the quote written in front of my on my wall here, and I look at it every single day I walk in the studio. But um, yeah, you just really have to be humble. You really have to accept that the process there's value in the process.
mm,
That's how you stay
mm,
relevant, right? Just
mm,
realizing that you are always a student, realize that you are always you should always be in the books, whatever those books figuratively or literally are. You always need to be learning, and don't be stale and stagnant in what you think you know. Talk to other folks within your industry, talk to other folks that are outside
yeah,
of your industry, talk to other leaders, talk to folks that are doing big things, talk to folks who have failed and
yeah,
probably haven't gotten back up, right? Talk to folks obviously who have failed and gotten up as well. Learn all of that stuff, man. Just soak it all up. And this entire lifetime, we should be learning every single day, all the time. And if you can't again pause and humble yourself and say that
mm,
I can learn something new every single day that benefits me personally and or professionally, that's where you lose,
mm,
right? If I can't call up Steve and say, man, let's chop it up and let's talk about X, Y, and Z, and then I don't uh, just soak that up and think that I could probably use an aspect. I probably can't use all of it, but I
right,
can say I can
right,
use some of what we're talking about in my business, in my profession, in my personal, in my professional life, whatever the case may be, and just take those nuggets and not just be so stagnant and hard and just non-approachable
mm,
and not willing to accept different points of view or different mindsets.
mm,
That's where you lose relevance.
mm,
That's where you lose authority. That's where you lose
yes,
just kind of your command of a situation as well. That's where you start having the shadow organizations within an organization. Oh
yes,
yeah, I know Steve may be
mm,
okay retail. I know he's the store manager, but no, we gonna go talk to Heidi because she's the one who really gets it done. She listens to me. She helps get things done. But I don't go talk to Steve, even though it's his name on the store. Okay, I'm probably getting in somebody's business right now. I'm,
you you
I'm gonna
you
leave that
will
alone.
that's no, you will 100% right. But because you know what happens, and I say this all the time in a team leaders, like the worst thing you could do is lose your team.
Mhm.
Like when you lose your team and their ability to trust you, their ability to trust what you're going to say and how you're
Yeah,
going to lead them because of poor questions, or it could be inconsistencies or whatever it is. And once you lose your team, man, it is extremely hard to get them back. It is
yeah,
extremely hard to get them back. And
yeah.
this leads
We
me
see that
to
we say
go
that
ahead.
a lot in
All the time,
sports,
all the time,
right?
all
I
the
mean, you think
time.
about that when a coach, when a leader, I'm not gonna call him a leader, when a coach isn't consistent with the direction of where he or she wants the team to go as a unit, and
Correct.
starts flailing or starts doing things off the field, out of the practice facility on their own that aren't consistent with the missions and the principles that are written in the locker room. And I'm not going to mention anybody's team because there's probably some folks who can read between the lines there. Some of the coaches, some of the instances that have happened with some sports teams lately.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's when you lose again your ability to control the dynamic. That's when your
Mm,
star quarterback's not going to listen to you. Well, coach, you was out here taking pictures at the bar with someone else, and you told us not to do that.
mm.
You aren't consistent with your message and your direction. How am I going to follow you if you're not doing it yourself?
Come on,
I don't know,
come on.
right? You just can't be like that because Nowadays, everyone's got a camera. Everyone's got this $1,000
Yeah,
camera in their pocket,
right.
and anything you say, anything you do will and can,
Hmm.
not can and will and can be used on you in the court of public opinion,
A public
because
opinion.
it will be on ESPN, it'll be on Fox, it'll be on NBC before you get back to your house,
That's
and you got some explaining to do.
some, got some explaining to do,
You got some
Lucy.
explaining to do.
To do,
Why
Lucy.
put
Yeah.
yourself through that? Again, and that I'm saying it somewhat lightly, but I'm also
Right.
saying it so it's relevant. And like my pastor always say, make it plain.
Make
Right.
it
I'm
plain.
saying it so folks can kind of see these other scenarios and see where it fits kind of into their life and into their profession as well. But
Excellent,
there
man.
you go.
Let's go through some of these comments real quick. Brandy, always learning and growing. And network is critical too. I agree. Networking is critical. I think that's also an underrated aspect of, especially in the retail world, because the tendency is that everybody almost stays in their little silo, and
Mm.
they don't go out of their building, or they don't, connect with people. I know, we're doing our content creation and doing all our other stuff, and so we have the ability to kind of go out there and connect with people. Could you talk a little bit about the importance of that ability to network and kind of get out of your, not your own head, but out of your own space as well too?
Yeah. Look, being in environments to where you're not always comfortable all the time.
Mm,
It's great that the world is starting to somewhat open up again, right? I'm glad that everyone for the most part is taking care of themselves, and for the most part we're kind of starting to open up to next month, right? I'm going to San Diego to be with social media marketing world and hang out
mm,
with some creators
yeah.
and be around them, buying drinks for everybody, and I'm gonna buy some steak dinners
When
because
is
it's gonna
it?
be
When
good
is
to
it?
see. March 13th through the 15th is when
Oh,
I'm there, brother.
oh man,
I'm
okay,
buying
man.
I'm buying the
That's
first
too
2
soon for
rounds of
me.
drinks that Sunday night, so if you're there,
It's too
that's what
soon.
it's all about.
It's too soon.
But, I mean, just again, being in environments to where you can have dialogue with like-minded, uh, individuals, like-minded, leaders, like-minded managers, like-minded individuals, just folks who are, again, progressively talking about moving the needle.
Yeah.
That's really where you want to spend your time. There's too much other noise happening in the world to where I feel that I can't wallow in that, and I can't put myself in situations to where there's a lot of negativity.
Mm,
Right, I would much rather spend my energy, my time around folks who are trying to do big things. Right. Um, so I choose where I go. I choose who I engage with. I
hmm.
choose who's on my phone, on my top 10 list, and things of that nature. Right, who I engage with. Got love for everyone. But who for me in my house,
Mm.
I'm gonna go ahead and take it to church here for a minute. For me in my house, I'm gonna go ahead and there it is. The doors of the church are open now. Bring ye all ye tithes to the
I had to
storehouse.
put that in there. I had to put that in
There it
there.
is.
Yeah, man. Go back
No,
to the comments
but
real
again,
quick. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just all about staying around folks who are thought provoking, thought leading, and just striving for greatness, and being able to go to events is a key piece of that now. So I'm glad that that's coming back, and I'm really looking forward to hanging out with some folks in the next couple of weeks to share some of that fellowship.
Excellent. Speaking of people who
Did I see Miss
yeah,
Jill?
I was
Oh
about to
my
say,
good.
speaking of people who are striving for greatness, right?
Oh man, look at
Speaking for
that.
some people who are striving for greatness, right there. Miss Jill, how are you doing? I had to cut, I think I was coming a little too hot there. How are you doing, Miss Jill? She said, check out these boys. There we go.
Watch yourself.
I
Watch
know,
out
right?
now.
I know. Hey, Laura, how are you?
Laura Williams in the
What's
building.
going on,
Full
Queen? How are
salute.
you? Good to see you here. And Heidi, Brandy, hey, yes. You have to be flexible. Go at it from different angles. I think she's just talking
Yeah.
about conversations as well. Loving these colors and backgrounds. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. She's talking about yours, James. Probably more so.
Yours isn't too bad too, brother.
You
You
know,
got that blue branding. I love it,
you
man.
know what I'm saying. We
But
just
again,
trying
that's what we do, leveling up, rising above the noise,
yeah.
right?
You have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Good
I
point.
100% agree. And then of course Queen likes that. Yeah, for me in my house. There you go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got a question. Any tips on working with communicating with other leaders who you may not respect? Ooh, that's a great question. Or who you feel disrespected by, but kind of still need to work with them. Woo, girl. Mm,
Hey,
mm.
I'm the most non-corporate person in the
I
room.
gotta put that question
I've
back
done
up.
some things
That's a
that,
great question. That's a
you know,
great question.
I'm surprised
Because
my picture isn't on the milk carton cover. 'Cause I've unfortunately I've done some. Listen,
man, that's a great
why?
question.
So why don't you? Why is there no respect? There's got to be something underlying to where there's that mutual respect is not
Let's
there,
go.
and
Mhm.
it sounds easy. It sounds trivial, but book a conference room, have a conversation with that person one on one. Maybe have an arbitrator in the room as well who can maybe I'm talk. See, hold on. See, I'm done with the question right now. Take me off the stream. I'm going back to eating my little lunch. You, you're not
All
gonna
right,
fluster me
seriously,
like
back
that
to
though, Jill. Yeah, you're
yeah.
not gonna
I
fluster
know.
me like that.
That was man. She teed us up for that one. She teed
Uh,
us up for that one. She
I
teed us
love
up.
it.
Go ahead, answer the question, man. Because
Yeah, and put
go ahead and answer the question.
put Queen's response up there. Great question. So
There it
let
is.
me go ahead and get situated. Let me answer
Yes,
that. So what was I saying before I was so rudely
you were talking
interrupted
about
by the
booking the
hecklers in the
conference
back?
room and
Yeah,
having
yeah. I
having
mean,
an
yeah.
intervention or something,
I mean, you got to figure. I think you got to figure out if it's a symptom or if it's really a problem, right? In terms
right?
of why the two of you or whoever don't really see eye to eye, and
Mm-hmm.
where you can find some common ground. If it's a requirement for the occupation, if it's a requirement for the job, that you two are amicable and you work together. Again, bringing in maybe that arbitrator to have the conversation with you and that other individual, but. Uh, there should be mutual respect for everyone as just humans and as citizens of the world. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to like you. I don't have
Right.
to like you. If I got to work with you, though, I'm gonna give you as much respect as you give me, and we can keep it 100 right there, and keep it at a 100% professional level. Don't call me at 5:30 when you want to go to drinks if I think you're gonna give me the bill or throw a bottle on my head. But mutual respect for the individuals, especially from a professional perspective. Find
Mm-hmm.
a way, and again, it sounds easy to do, but go ahead and book that conference room, book that Zoom call, book that Teams meeting to where you two and probably again like that arbitrator are on the line and just hash it out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and call somebody a four-letter word or whatever you have to do, but sometimes get that emotion out to
Mm-hmm.
whereas you get to either what that root cause analysis is instead of just what the symptom is. And
Yeah.
if it's just that Jill, you came and I saw you in the lunchroom and you moved my sandwich. That's not the problem. Right. Something else is going on in your life that we need to talk about. So it
Right.
could be a learning experience
Mm-hmm.
for the other person, right? It really could be an eye-opening counseling, just a intervention experience for the person who's is coming at you and you're knocking heads. There's obviously something else probably behind the scenes that you can work at, and again, both evolve from, both learn from, both grow from. So, uh, I- after 35 years in this technology industry, my skin has gotten very thick. So I
Yeah.
have called people things, and folks have called me things, and I've
Mm-hmm.
learned to be very, bounce them off, and realize that it's not always directly personal,
Mm-hmm.
pointed at me. There's something else underlying, and I've been in the leadership positions to where I've worked to pull that out, right? Get
Right.
to the problem instead of talking about the symptom all the time.
Yeah. And I'll I'll answer it, and I'll answer it a different way because um when you think about it, because there's always going to be somebody that, as a leader, one of the first things you have to be able to do, and I think this is something that a lot of leaders don't do, is you have to be able to read the room. You have to be able to understand what each person in the room, and that just takes time and that takes some experience, is to
Mm,
understand what makes that person tick. Because there are going to be people that come in that room that you probably don't like because of how they carry themselves. There are people that I'm just going to use my own experiences. There are people that I've worked with. They don't add any value to any
mm,
almost conversations that we would have from a leadership standpoint when they come into the room. They want attention. They're attention seekers. There are people who want to be the smartest people in the room, right? So as a leader, you first and foremost have to be able to understand who those players are and understand a little bit more of kind of the and you have to kind of understand who they are from a psychology standpoint and what makes them tick, because at that point in time, then you can couch your communication. So, and I'm not saying that you have to be a chameleon. I'm going to use it from my own standpoint from the military. One of the things that we learned in the military, oops, geez, oh my goodness, what happened there? Oh my gosh, there we go. I'm doing too much. There we go. Was the 1,000 yard stare. My TI would get into my face and he would just be yelling at me, yelling, and I would be looking through him. And I had the tendency to do that. I do that now sometimes when I'm dealing with somebody that I feel that I don't like. Come on, man. We can respect people all day long.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
just gonna
sir.
keep it real. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we don't like people, some certain people because of certain tendencies. And so I take that mindset of 1,000 yard stare and I think about it in the context of how I'm dealing with this person, because I'm not gonna have to deal with you all day long. Sometimes you do. But I look at them and I think about, how can I get to this person? How can I connect with them on something? I may not like them, but I need to connect with something. Let me stroke their ego. Let me tell them, let me ask them about their shoes. Talk about their watch. You get somebody talking about themselves. Next thing you know, you're gone. All right, great job. Good to see you, James. I appreciate you. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, the other person that you probably dislike. You understand how to communicate with people differently. Read the room, understand what you need to say to that person in order to get through that conversation. If it's close proximity, if it's every day, then from what James talking about, getting in the room, talking about it, understanding why, what's the issue? Because a lot of times it's just, well, you said something to me the other day and I just didn't like it. I felt disrespected.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Well, how do you like to be communicated? What are the thoughts process? What would I need to do differently? So anyway, I went on that
Yeah,
tangent.
no, so I'm gonna add on to that, and I
Yeah.
know you probably have something else you wanna
No, go
add
ahead.
too, but I would say maintain your own respect for yourself and your own
Yes.
dignity, right? Don't
Yes.
don't don't
Yes. Yes.
demean yourself as you have those conversations, right? Stand your ground as well. Give them that 1,000 yard stare, but and give that those compliments and all. But if you don't mean it, don't say it,
No.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
still be true to yourself in terms of that dialogue and that conversation, because I think you would lose respect from their eyes, and I can guarantee you probably lose respect of your own self a little bit if you crumbled at the thought of having this conversation. Yeah, it's going to be awkward. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but stand up straight, give them that 1,000 yard stare, and be true to whatever that you're saying. If you really don't mean
Yes.
about the
Mm-mm.
cool shoes and the cool hat or whatever,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
say it.
Exactly. Pick
But
something.
but
100%.
yeah,
If you don't
yeah,
like it, if you don't think the shoes are whack, then don't say it. But pick something. Oh man, okay, I like the shoes actually. And then, well, finding that point of common ground to some degree, right?
yeah.
Because you have
That's a
to,
good point. The common ground. I like that.
because you
Yeah,
you have to deal with that person, right? In some way,
mm,
shape, or form, you're gonna have to deal with that person. And as the leader, it is important for you to understand that you need to connect, right?
yeah,
It could be a subordinate, it could be a peer, it could be a supervisor. As a leader, and James just said it, you cannot compromise who you are and your values and what you want to stand for. And so sometimes you have to be the one to connect, even if you dislike that person. Man, I've been doing this retail thing for so long. I don't know how many people I've come into that I've been able to read. I'm like, they that's a snake right there. I'm just keeping it real. That's a snake.
yeah,
Oh man, I can't trust that person as far as I can throw him. However, now I know where you stand. Now I know how I need to approach the situation. So you need to be able to have that information and be able to read the room and understand who that person is, and then take
yeah,
it at face value, right? If they're gonna act a certain way, take it at that value, right? But you can't compromise. You cannot compromise who you are. Can't compromise. I don't want to. Whoo. Oh, and then Brandy says, oh, look at that.
don't pay attention to that, brother. I appreciate you all,
Look at that.
Miss Jill, and
Look at that.
I'll show you how to activate some of them triggers there,
You
brother.
need to shoot.
Yeah.
No, 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 Jill. Seriously, seriously, you.
Oh, see, don't hate, participate.
I can't.
Don't hate.
Yeah, like because brother ain't up at that level yet, though.
'Cause
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to buy some more podcasters live
there
gear
we
is
go.
what I'm gonna do. Y'all go get
Please.
this blue and gray raglan. Uh,
Davis is military star argument,
Mr.
present everything
Natividad,
in the
that's my
form of
guy.
a question. That's right. That's right.
That's my guy right there. Yeah, military man right there too, knows what he's talking about. Yeah, David Natividad is a good man. So appreciate you for being here, sir. And
Yeah,
thank
you
you
have
again,
to,
Mr.
man. I think one of the things that, James, that I wanna make sure everybody kind of has a better understanding a little bit about, what you do, right? You talked a little bit about, we talked about questions, we talked about leadership, we talked about all these different aspects. But I just to bring it home, because as I alluded to earlier, your different shows and your ability to ask questions. Talk a little bit about just your shows. You can talk
Yeah,
about what you got going on tomorrow if you want to as well. But I think it'll just to kind of bring it home and bring everything together.
bring it home. Are you kicking me off the stream already?
No,
What, You
man,
you,
I try
you
to keep it
mad?
to an
You
hour,
mad,
man. I
bro?
try to keep it to an hour, man. I try
Okay.
my best, but
Well,
we gonna keep it chopping. We gonna keep chopping it
you
up.
trying to keep me to an hour?
I
Oh
know,
no.
I
Oh
know,
look.
man. I
How long
know.
we been
I'm trying to
talking?
be
I
respectful,
am long winded on purpose. No, so yeah, everything falls under the umbrella of Hicks New Media, H&M Live. There are three distinct shows, three distinct streams. One being the Digital Collective. The Digital Collective is where we talk about enterprise and consumer technology and how and why it matters to the individual, the consumer, and small and medium sized business. Um, Team No Sleep is a show
mm,
that I do, and its mission is to cover the social impact of sport. Right. So we don't talk about what color shoes somebody's wearing. We don't talk about the score. We don't talk about those very low level things. We talk about things like NIL, right? Name, image, and likeness. How these now 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who are now sophomores and juniors in college, first time going away from home, and they get a gig with Popeye's Chicken to go out there and bag up some lunch for everyone, and they're getting paid for that because they're out there making this money. And now this student athlete probably makes more per year than the coach.
mm,
How does the respect factor work for the athlete and the coach? So we talk about, again, name, image, and likeness. We talk about the social impact side. We talk about a lot of mental health and mental awareness things. So the Naomi Osaka
mm,
conversation when
mm,
she was struggling and going through her things, we talked about that a lot. Tomorrow we're gonna have a very heartfelt conversation about some things that are still happening from the Major League Baseball side, how they right now are having to lock out and they're locking out players, but there's a couple of individuals on some teams that had some domestic violence issues. So we talk about stuff that matters, again, raising
mhm,
above the noise. And then perspectives and focus really is the show that's, man, that's the one where we talk to people that are in industries and in technologies that are really making a positive stride and a positive difference in society. So again, tomorrow I got Sylvia Nixon coming on for the start of Women's History Month,
mm,
and we're going to talk about uh, why women run the world and why
mm,
women should be running the world.
mm,
Why, I mean, the
mm,
importance of having women entrepreneurs and leaders
mm.
and things of that nature, right? So we're going to talk about that. I'm probably going to ask her some awkward questions. Why there are not as many women out there doing what it is that she's doing, leading, running companies. Yeah, I know there's a good swath of them, but man, we
Right.
need more.
Yeah.
Why are we still dealing with inequality from a pay perspective? Title IX. Again, why are we still dealing with those kind of things?
Mm,
And just how can we encourage women, ladies, and people, minorities, everyone to just again rise above the noise and do something special with their lives. So those are the three shows: the Digital Collective, Team No Sleep, and Perspectives and Focus. And everything really is around entertaining, educating, and enlightening. Those are
mm,
the three kind of pillars of what I'm doing in terms of telling stories and
mhm,
having people come on. When I turn on these lights and I press record, again, I get in the navigator seat and let you sit in the captain's chair, and we just chop it up and tell your story, because everyone has something valuable to talk about, and I'm just here to provide a platform and be a servant to the community.
mm. Well,
Yeah.
I can't let you go without one more
What you want me to
question.
sing? You
One
want
more.
me to sing? Oh, okay.
No,
I
no, we
thought
don't want
I
that.
thought
We
me
don't
and I
want
thought
that.
me
We
and
don't
Jill
want
were gonna
that. And
sing a song.
we don't want you singing, and we don't want you on TikTok. dancing either. We talked about
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, you don't we yeah, I can't what is man, what is that? I can't
I
understand TikTok.
can't.
What are the kids doing? I tried.
Who was
I
was that? Who? Okay, okay. 'Cause let's go down there for a second because
I
who was
tried.
that? Was that you I was listening to, or who was it that I was listening to? Did you play a clip around TikTok? It was a podcast. It was some. It was, I can't remember, but they were talking about how the idea of TikTok and it's a TikTok in China is different
Okay.
than it is here in the States. Like people
Okay.
will share stuff around technology, education on those on those platforms over there. Here we have, dancing and all this other jazz.
We got noise. We got
Noise,
noise. Yeah.
noise, and there isn't anything around technology. There isn't anything around building people up. There isn't anything around educating the masses. It's just noise, and as a leader, because this guy I think is relevant, you have to try to figure out how to stay above the noise. How do you how do you try your best to stay above the noise, man? Because they're just it is just it's prevalent out there, man. And
Yeah.
everybody thinks the noise is the place to be. Not everybody, but a lot of people thinks the noise is the place to be because I think that they think that makes it relevant.
You're almost barking up a tree where I actually personally have a
Come on.
problem with, right? So okay. Now see you're gonna mess around, open up this can of
That's
worms here.
okay, man. I know.
All right, so I'll start with this. Entertainment is good. I think
Yep.
you got to have a break from reality sometimes. You
Mhm.
got to watch your what my wife watches those I'm gonna put her on blast here. Those
What, Real Housewives?
not the Real House, but the married 6 months to a bro.
Oh, oh,
I don't
oh,
know.
oh, like 90 Day
No. Yeah,
Newlyweds
90
or
Day
something?
Fiance, right? So
Yeah,
she'll
yeah.
watch that. She'll come home from a long, hard day, right, of doing what she does and what she does fantastically. And I'll go upstairs and she got that madness. So I'm like, come on now. But I understand, right? You got to have a break from it. And you got to play your wordles or you got to play your friend
Oh, Words
words
with
with friends.
Friends. Words with
You
Friends.
got to do all that. I
Right.
understand that. But social media has caused folks' attention span to be
Mm,
all of about 2, three
mm,
minutes. And that's a problem with
mm,
our society. That's a problem with how our youth are being brought up, right? Because again, they are always constantly looking at these devices and they're not looking up, looking out at the world and seeing the
mm,
glory and the beauty of the world,
mm,
or they're not engaging and having conversations. Yeah, they may be texting folks and they may be talking back and forth through emojis, but no one's writing a letter anymore.
mm,
No one's picking up the phone and say, "Hey, how you doing?" No one's talking to their grandparents or their aunt who they haven't seen in years or they haven't seen in 17 months since the world stopped. Is a problem. Bringing it back to what I said, I have a personal problem with this, and this can be a coaching and a a counseling session for me.
I'll
Being in
charge you
enterprise
I'll charge you
technology,
later.
I feel I shouldn't, but I feel a personal responsibility since I sell all of this infrastructure
Yes.
to these companies. I sell the servers, storage, and the networking and compute infrastructure to Facebook and
Mm,
to Google and to all of these companies out there. So I'm the one proliferating that. I
mm,
have this in my in my head right now, and I deal with this every single day. And I tell folks around me that I have to get out of that, obviously, right? Because I know it's not my fault, but every single day, I get an order from one of those organizations, and I'm shipping $1 million worth of storage
mm,
to Google so they can track you every time you search something online. And I'm proliferating kind of this whole social media destruction. I think
mm,
I really feel it's a destruction of our individual mindset. Now,
mm.
how do we break out of that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? There's pros and cons to it. Technology, it's here to stay. We got to have it. But you brought it up, so now I'm
I'm
telling
okay.
you a struggle that I deal with every single day, and I wish that we would just
Mm,
pause and talk to our youth
yeah.
primarily. You can teach an old dog new tricks sometimes, but if we can talk to the ones coming up after us and tell them, just put that phone down for a minute. Have a conversation with your brother, your sister, your mother at the table. Don't bring the phone. Right, right. Just have engaging conversation. There's so much going on in the world right now. There are people who woke up yesterday who aren't going to wake up tomorrow.
Come on.
Either because of a war or because of just whatever else is happening on. So hopefully that's a kick in the tail for folks to understand the value of life
Yeah.
and the value of how short this journey is. Right. So yeah, you got me going down a path
Well,
there,
I'm
brother.
gonna
But
take you
but
down.
that's
I'm gonna take you down another path real
I
quick.
deal with that a lot.
I'm gonna take you down another
But
path. You have recently, um, done away, if you will, with the moniker of influencer, and you have chosen to take on the word advocate.
I don't know if I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can anybody hear me? You can't hear me?
Can y'all hear Steve? I can't hear him. Who can you hear? I
I
done
can
messed
hear
around
you.
and gone on a tangent
I can
and
hear
got
you.
all emotional here and the internet done cut me off.
Nobody's on mute. We hear you. You can hear me.
Gary
Can you?
Jones, I see. I appreciate you. Troy Hinkle, my guy.
Yeah. So you can hear. Can you hear me? You can't hear
Can
me,
y'all hear
James?
Steve?
Yes. Yeah. We hear. They hear us
All right.
both.
Well, y'all hear us both. I can't hear you, man. Again, see, something happened. I done
What you
messed
do,
around and
man?
got
You
somebody
just doing
mad.
too much, man.
I done said something and made somebody upset. But,
You just doing too much. Turn on the speaker or something. James got to plug. Yeah, plug your hip. Yeah,
don't start. I see the comments, Joe. Hold on? Did I
yeah. Put him on
unplug it?
blast,
Maybe
Joe.
in
Put him on
my
blast.
rant. Let's see here.
Put him on blast. Put him on blast.
No, it's not my
It's
headphones.
not your headphones, but it's your roadcaster. What you got going on?
All right. Well, Steve, I tell you what, brother, I can't hear you, so I'm a deviate. I'm a pivot. I'm gonna let you close the show out until we figure out what's going on. I think I've said enough to be dangerous here.
Oh man, oh
See,
man.
see, see what happens? I get real and I get to, you got to enjoy live streaming here. God, Joe,
I
everybody
can
can
I,
hear us, but I can't hear a word you.
I can hear everything you
I'm gonna take a screenshot of this though.
take a
Cause see,
screenshot of this,
let me
man.
get the screenshot.
Are you hold up for a second? Let me make sure. Let me do something real quick. Let me
Rodecaster Pro, get my
let me
money
see.
back.
I got your
Let me see
volumes.
something here.
Your volumes are up.
Wait a minute. So that's weird.
Are you good now?
Yeah. So shouts out to Beta. Let's talk to the folks. I'm not gonna put anybody on blast, but yeah, I can hear you now. I'm running latest beta of this streaming platform that I'm using that I love, but
Yeah.
it switched my audio um, interface.
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
you got me now?
I got you now. We're
You got
back.
me now.
Live streaming.
Dude,
But
this is
so here we go, right?
yeah,
So here we go, right? This is real. This
that's
is what it's
man,
all
that's
about,
this
right?
is
We were able to see a situation, be able to pivot and adjust to it. No one got flustered.
not at all.
We were
Not at
we
all.
were we were able to find out what was going on and continue to move forward. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. And bringing it back to retail leadership, bringing it back to professional. See, I'm gonna find a way to tell a story
Because
still. I'm gonna find a way to weave it in, right? Don't get flustered when things don't go the way that you want them to go. When things don't go the perceived way that you wanted them to
come
go.
on.
If this stream had gone 100% perfectly,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have. We wouldn't have gained anything.
Mm.
If there hadn't been an issue, I wouldn't have known to go check my output settings on the audio, right? I wouldn't have realized that. Yeah, you know what? I'm running the latest beta that Ken and Glenn just dropped 5 minutes before we went
Oh, you
online, and
did?
of
See,
course
I didn't download it yet. That's your problem
so
right there. That's your
you know,
problem.
and so I'm coming in through that. But again, so those are some issues that through experience, through just being uh, comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh
Someone
yeah,
said
man.
that earlier on,
Gotta
right?
be.
We're able to pivot and move from it. So
Yeah. And you gotta
there's
be
learning in
patient.
that.
And you
Yeah,
gotta be
there's
patient.
some learning in that,
You
brother.
gotta be patient. Share says the streets are watching.
Eh, Oh, hold on. So put this on the screen. Troy
Which one?
actually put. How did he get that?
Where?
Advocate, not influencer. How did he know about that?
Because I said it. Because that's what I
Oh,
was because that's what I
okay.
was
Well,
saying.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah,
Did you?
exactly.
Don't steal that.
Exact
Hold on.
you thought he was a telepath or something. He was like, "How does he know
Yeah,
that?"
you know what I'm saying? Don't steal that because that's actually coming down the pike. I don't
I
even think
wasn't
I
no,
told you about that.
I wasn't stealing that.
Okay.
I was asking the question before you got all betaized over there, man. you know.
I know, man. Don't
Th-
stay,
It's all good.
stay
It's all
on
good.
GA, folks. Stay on generally available. Don't cowboy code like me and put that brand new funky fresh beta down.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I saw it, and I was like, I was like, nope, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till tonight. Actually, after I get off. So the question I asked was that you have recently, kind of, put the moniker aside of influencer, if you will, and
Yep.
you have taken on the mantle of advocate. Does that is that directly kind of correlated with what you were just talking about as being almost, a supplier, if you will, to that industry, or to the degradation, if you will, of the thought process, or the attention span, if you will? What's your
Mm.
thoughts?
Yeah, no, and I apologize, man. For I know you wanted to keep the show at a
We're good.
specific time
We're good.
frame.
We're good.
No, that is something that I deal with consciously every single day. To be honest
Mm,
with you, I do have issues with that, and I do try to reach out to some peers within the industry to talk about that because I do feel we're deteriorating
mm,
our mental stability.
mm.
No, being an advocate versus being an influencer. To being an advocate means me really saying, Steve, look at that newsletter that you just put out today. That's
Yeah,
phenomenal. Keep doing that. Keep growing. Keep leveling up. So being a cheerleader, being a champion
yeah,
for others that are out there doing good work as well.
yeah,
Because a lot of times we don't get those flowers
yeah.
while we're in the process, right? We're always in the grime. We're always in the hustle. We're always in the dirt on our knees, pushing out these products and these services and this content. But no one stops and says, you know what? Man, that's a good job. That looks
Mhm,
good. Do this, but you know what? Maybe tweak this a little bit. So we never actually advocate for the
mm,
positive nature and for the good that folks are doing. You
mm.
always uh, you got trolls out there all the time telling you you're
Yeah,
doing something bad, right? And if you don't have haters, you're not winning. But
right.
no one spends the time to just stop for 2 seconds
Mm,
and say, Steve, that's a damn good job, brother.
yeah.
Keep doing that. Keep doing you. Keep doing what you're doing. So that's really after focused is going to live forever. Stay
Mm,
focused on you. That's going
yeah,
to live forever. That's
yeah,
always going to be around. But really, my whole mental state is also around advocating for folks that are out there doing positive things in the world.
yeah. What's your ultimate goal with, the digital collective, right? Because I'm extremely, extremely, extremely humbled, and excited to be a part of that group. Um, this consortium, if you will,
Mm,
of
mm,
of thought leaders, of people who are trying to take their business, and trying to take their content and what they're doing, and trying to take over, if you will, that their business discipline, right? Talk a little bit about that, because I think it helps people to understand that, one, you're not alone. You as a leader,
mhm.
right? You can't do any of this alone, right? And so you're trying to create um, this, this situation where people of like minds can actually kind of come together and do really good work and advocate on each other's behalf.
Yeah, the idea is to never let it end. Why
Mm,
end?
that's right.
Right. And I'm not going to steal the catchphrase from a friend of mine, but a phenomenal motivational speaker here based in Northern California says, reach one, teach one.
Mm,
Right. So I always want to be able to do that. That came from my boy Kevin Bracey. I'm not sure if he's listening, but shouts out to you, Kevin Bracey. Yeah, reach one, teach one, and the idea is to always be that advocate for folks, to always be kind of that environment for growth,
mm,
for positive direction, right? For fellowship, for conversation, because we're all at different stages and different seasons within our life. Someone's going to need to step up. We'll do musical chairs, and someone is leading the pack for a little while. Someone else can be leading the pack after a little while. But again, we're all evolving, and the idea is just to continue to let it evolve. I don't
mm,
do it for any
yeah.
it's it, any monetary value. I
Right.
don't do it for any likes, fans, chats. I don't do it for any subscribes or
Yeah.
names on the email list. No, that's not even secondary. That's not even tertiary, right? It
Mm,
really is just to be around people who feel that they've got something to offer to someone else. Let's just build together, right? Let's be collective. Let's build together and let's grow together. So yeah, just keep going, brother.
Yeah,
This
it's
this
interesting
is
because you know because you said it, like some people will try to actually create something like that, and then they'll quickly try to monetize it.
yeah,
And not everything, needs to be monetized. Not
yeah,
everything actually has to have a price tag on it. Good conversation and people sharing with each other their ideas about what they want to do for their business, what they want to do for
mhm,
their concept. Like that piece right there, you can't really put a price tag on. Just our overall exchanges that we've had, over the last 4, 5, 6 months, man, has helped me, kind of understand and kind of distill, some of my thoughts around what it is that I want to do. And guys, we're having these conversations to help you understand that as a leader, you can't do this alone. You're not alone. The moment John Maxwell says this, he said, the the minute you go for a walk and no one's following you, then you're just going for a walk. You're not a leader, right? People have to be following you, and then people also sometimes have to take that step up, and you have to allow them to lead. And so you are not alone. And I am super excited to be able to have this guy on my show. He was on Podcasters Live. He's repping Podcasters Live as well. The other thing that we got going on, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. I gotta catch up. I think I'm like 2 live streams behind you.
was that in total put out or something?
In
Or
total, man. I gotta start another one, man.
yeah, look, man, I got my foot on the gas pedal, man. Yeah, not stopping. We got some things coming down the pike, and I see Miss Jill talking about you need to get you down to San Diego next. I'll buy your ticket.
You- Mm,
I'll buy your ticket.
I can't, man. That's next
All right,
week.
I
That's
put
next
it I
week,
put it
though.
out there in the
I
streets,
know
brother.
you did, man.
I
I
put
know
it
you
out there.
did.
I
I
will
know you
buy
did.
your airline ticket.
I
You
know you
can stay in
did,
your own
man.
room. You're not staying in my room. I don't know how clean. Look, I keeps my stuff clean, so
Oh,
I can't
oh,
have you just
oh
walking
no.
around.
I'm tidy, man.
So
I'm
uh,
tidy. I try
there
to
you
I try
go.
to keep it tidy, man. I try to the office area gets but I have all my little gear over here, all my podcaster stuff and
See,
retail stuff all over
now
there.
you pivoting and you deviating, right?
I know.
We
I
trying to
know.
get you there. I done just bought you a
I know.
plane ticket. You folks, y'all heard it right, man.
Oh, look at
I
this.
don't know what to say.
She could buy my meals.
And she got, dude. Now all you got, look, get out of your own way, brother. Get out of your own
Oh.
way.
Oh man, oh man. Oh my gosh. See, y'all just messing me up. Well, we go talk. We go chat offline on that one. We got
No, I'm through with you.
no, no, man. We go chat offline.
Keep going.
Oh, this thing always just goes the way that it's supposed to. Amen, James Steve. This is really good today. Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Really appreciate that. I think that's the goal. With all of this is to just put out content, put out conversations, and have people think a little bit differently about where they are, what they're doing, and making sure that they have a better understanding, a little bit more about themselves, so that way they can make a better decision, man. Dude, I appreciate you, man, for coming on the show tonight, man. Um, I think we already talked a little bit about it, but where can everybody find you? Get all your information.
Yeah. Hey, man. Again, thank you again for the opportunity for coming and hanging out with your audience, and thank you to folks who were from my channel on my side for coming and joining in as well. Shouts out to Restream for allowing us to have all of our channels rolling at the same time. Everything falls under HicksNewMedia.com, kind of like Steve's got going in the lower third right there. That's the hub for where you can find all of my live streams, where you can find the podcasts, where you can find the community, and where you can also reach out to me if you want to get on the newsletter. So yeah, HicksNewMedia.com is the home.
Excellent, man. Excellent, man. Dude, stay in the green room, whatever you want to call it, for a minute while I close this up. All right, man. Appreciate you,
Thank you,
dude.
brother.
Appreciate you. Woo wee. Oh man, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. You know, one of the things that we strive to do with retail leadership with Steve Worthy is to help leaders understand a little bit more about their communication and the culture that they work in so that they can advance their career. That is our goal. That is what we do. That is how we live. That is the clients that we talk to. Our goal is to always help them advance their career. But the only way that they can do that is to learn more about themselves. And that's what we do. If you are interested in learning more about what we do at Worthy Retail, you can go to worthyretailyou.com, or here's what we can do. You can just go to asksteveworthy.com. We'll make it so much easier for you. You have a question, you have a concern, asksteveworthy.com. Go ahead and check us out. So as we close tonight, we want to thank you guys for listening. If you are listening to this on a replay, please go ahead and ask a question, put something in the comments. If you want to know a little bit more about us, once again, you can go to asksteveworthy.com. Have a great night, and God bless.